Banner Knowledge Bowling, I'm Steve. Let's talk bowling. I got a great question from Tony Phelps. His question was, how do I bring a ball back to the original box finish? Great question, and I'll tell you what, Motiv makes it easy. Go over to the Motiv website, under that resource tab, click on Factory Finish Guide, and it'll bring this up. This guide is awesome, and it will tell you how to bring your ball back to box. Now, before we get started, I'm gonna put up the ripcord flight here. You're gonna see that it says 3000 grit LSS. So that's what is telling you what the ball was originally when you first brought it back from the pro shop. Okay, we'll go back to the finish guide here. Now this finish guide has 3 columns. The first says the factory finish, so you're gonna see at the top it says 2000 grit LSS. The LSS stands for laser scan sanded. And you're going to see it goes down the column to the very bottom, which says 5500 grit LSP, laser scan polish. So we're going to look at that ripcord flight, and that said 3000 grit LSS. So you're going to notice the next column says ball spinner. So if you have a ball spinner at your house, you're going to notice it says 500, 1000, 2000. That is the sanding pads that we're going to use on each side of the bowling ball for 15 seconds. So the first one says 500. We're going to do the 500 for 15 seconds on each side of the ball. We're going to go to 1000 each side of the ball for 15 seconds. And then the last one was 2000 each side of the ball, 15 seconds. Now you're going to say, wait a minute, Steve, what do you mean? A bowling ball is round. It doesn't have sides. And I would agree. But if we look at this bowling ball here, we're going to see the grips and the thumb here, top to bottom. If we just do the top and the bottom, over time we're gonna make this ball get out of its round shape. So when we talk about sides, we're talking about above the fingers, below the fingers, left and right of the fingers, and in the center of the grip and behind the center of the grip. So if you're using your ball spinner at home, remember 6 sides, it's 15 seconds per side. So to bring your ripcord flight as an example that I showed up there from the finish you currently have on it back to box, you take that 500 sanding pad each side for 15 seconds on each side, the 1000 and the 2000, then you're done. Now I'll go one more column over to the right. Now that is the resurfacing machine. So if in your pro shop you have the machine where you put the ball in and it spins it, you put the 500 pad in there for 30 seconds. Now you're going to notice that the second column says 2000 times 2. And all that means is you put a 2000 pad in there in that machine. Instead of doing it 30 seconds, double it. So you're going to do it for 1 minute. Now all the way at the bottom where it says 5000 grit LSP, you're going to do the sandings and then add the polish at the end. So for example, on the resurfacing machine, on the 5000 grit LSP, it says polish times 2. So instead of doing the polish for 30 seconds, you're going to do it for 1 minute. On the ball spinner side, you're going to do each side of the ball for 15 seconds times 2. So you go 30 seconds each side. And you're going to get that ball almost all the way back to the original when you brought it out. Now, why did I say almost? Most of the time, people resurface their balls. However, they don't get their grips replaced. I always recommend, if you're going to go for a full resurfacing, put new grips in the ball. Once you do that, boy, that ball's going to act just like it did when you walked out of the pro shop. Now, in between doing these resurfacings, I try to clean my bowling ball after every time I complete. I got a bunch of things here. The Amplify Ball Cleaner is awesome. It just sprays on the ball, you wipe the ball down, and then when the ball dries, just make sure you got all of it off, and it's going to take a lot of the grime out of the bowling ball. They also have a cleaner, and this you just put on the towel, you wipe it around the ball, and you make sure that it gets off. There's the Motiv Polish, and then another one which is pretty awesome is the Motiv Scuff. Now this you can use on your spinner to give the bowling ball a sheen finish. But another thing you can do with this is you can put a ball just in the ball cup and put it on a dry towel and cover the ball completely and let it dry. It takes about a half hour, maybe an hour. When it's dry, clean it all off, flip the ball over and do it again. This will actually pull out a little bit of the oil that is inside that cover stock right there on the top, and it'll de-oil the ball a little bit. Make sure the ball's really clean, and then when you go back out, when that ball is on the lane, it's going to give you the freshest surface that you can do. Another thing you can do in between resurfacing the balls is you can use your Abralon pad and just go around the surface by hand. You don't got to dig into the ball a lot, but you can freshen up that cover. You can also just add a little bit of polish by hand, for example. And this way you'll have your bowling balls fresh and ready to go each time you go to compete. Great question. Have other questions about surface and surface maintenance? Please put them below. Thanks a lot.